Turn up the radio if you want some good news about the environment. Why are whales coming back to the waters around New York City? Joining me on the line is Paul Sieswerda, founder of Gotham Whale in New York City. Paul, good morning.
Good morning.
Paul, I heard your story, and boy, I was really enthused and really happy. You go back a decade, there were not very many whales, if at all, in the waters around New York, and now they're numbering in the hundreds. Paul, tell me the story. What happened here?
Well, that's exactly the case. Prior to 2010, whales would come by our area intermittently, an occasional visitor every summer or a stray animal during the fall or something like that. But in 2010, our boat captain, and Gotham Whale operates on board a commercial whale watching boat, the American Princess. Our boat captain had started to hear from his fishing buddies that they were seeing whales more and more. So in 2011, we began studying these whales from the American Princess Cruises ship, and each year they just exploded. Every year thereafter, 2011, 2012, 2013, and 14, each year they more than doubled the number of whales that we were able to observe. So, and now it's just 10, 12 whales at a time. So
Wow.
It's just an amazing time here in New York.
You know, Paul, if you go back and watch like pop culture from the 80s and 90s, the quality of water in and around New York has always been a running gag. I would imagine, and tell me if I'm wrong here, if you're getting hundreds of whales returning to the waters, that the water isn't as bad as it was 20, 30 years ago. Is that the key here? Is that what's happened in New York City?
Right again. Absolutely, that's the case. In the 70s, things got so bad that the United States government enacted a number of very influential environmental laws, the Clean Water Act, the Clean Air Act, the Environmental Protection Agency, the Marine Mammal Protection Act. So all those things went into effect in 1972, and the results of that, I think, we're seeing right now, because there's cleaner water in the Hudson River, which is the major influence for the waters where we're seeing these whales right outside of the entrance to the port of New York. And so all this clean water is coming out, promoting algae growth, and that's promoting the prey species to come back. This species called menhaden are coming back, which provide a perfect food for the whales of New York.
We're speaking with Paul Sieswerda, founder of Gotham Whale in New York City. So, Paul, tell me about these whales. What type of whales are they? What makes them special? Were they endangered? Give me some more info.
They were endangered. They're humpback whales, and that's the species that we see almost exclusively. We see an occasional minke whale, and sometimes a fin whale comes through, but primarily it is humpback whales, and they're coming here to feed. They feed all summer long. They feed in a particular behavior called lunge feeding, because the fish, these menhaden, form these very tight balls to escape regular predators like striped bass and bluefish and sharks. And so in their behavior to get away from those predators, they get in these tight, bite-sized morsels for humpback whales, and they come up through the tight ball with their mouth wide open and engulf hundreds of pounds of fish in one swallow. So it's a perfect scenario for the whales to feed very effectively.
So you've got hundreds of whales now in the waters around New York City, but I still think of New York as a busy area, must have a bustling port. What are some of the challenges? What are some of the dangers that these whales still face?
Well, thank you for asking that, because even though it is a good news story, there are some concerns because, as you say, the port of New York, New Jersey is the busiest port on the eastern seaboard, and there's a high traffic area. And unfortunately, these whales are playing in traffic. We see them right in and around the Ambrose Channel. Fortunately, we have not witnessed any kind of ship collisions with whales in and around the harbor, but they are known to be affected by ship strike in a very negative fashion, perhaps maybe more offshore when the ships are going relatively fast. When they come into the port, they slow down a bit. So even though we see whales and big container ships and cruise ships and tankers, they seem to be living in harmony for the time being, at least, but it's a major concern.
Paul, when you see this growth in the whale population, the environment is on top of mind for a lot of people, and you see how this has turned around in 10 years. Does it give you encouragement? Does it make you positive that governments and people will be able to tackle the other issues facing our oceans?
Well, we saw that, and unfortunately, some things had to get so bad in the 70s that this major legislation was enacted. And fortunately, maybe a lesson is learned that we don't want to let things get to those extreme limits. But we're happy that it currently is a good news story, and the legislation plus all the work of activists up and down the Hudson River and all the people that are working for a better environment, I think, have really made a difference. So we're reaping the benefits of all that hard work.
Paul, let's get the plug in for my next trip for New York and for all of us Montrealers that come down to New York. How do we see the humpback whales the next time we're in New York City?
Well, it's just amazing. We get tourists from all over the world now, that Europe and various places around the United States. So it is becoming a tourist attraction for something that people would never think of to go to New York to see.
Yeah.
But we say Rockaway, the new Cape Cod, and that's not too far off. And visitors to New York can schedule whale watching trips just as they would at any other place up in Canada and Maine and Massachusetts, Cape Cod, all those very well-known sites. We're following their lead, and it's a great experience for a lot of people that come to New York. We have whales in the foreground and skyscrapers in the background. That's something you don't see.
Some of the images there of just that are absolutely stunning. Paul Sieswerda, founder of Gotham Whale in New York. Thanks so much for taking the time, Paul.
I really appreciate your interest in our work. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Look at that. Go to New York, go see a show on Broadway, and see the whales around New York City. Pretty awesome stuff. A good news story.